Have you ever stopped to think if God's blessings are present in your life in ways you might never have noticed? Most people associate blessings with money in their pockets, unshakable health, or grand achievements. But what if I told you that the greatest signs of being blessed often appear amidst struggles, moments of uncertainty, or even in the tears you shed? It sounds strange, doesn't it? After all, who imagines that pain or difficulty could be evidence of divine care? Here's a truth that few understand. God's blessings aren't limited to what we can touch or measure. They reveal themselves in the strength you find during storms, the peace that arises amidst chaos, and the certainty that you're never alone, even when the world seems to collapse. It's like discovering that what you once saw as failure was actually the foundation for something far greater. Surprising, isn't it? What you're about to learn will open your eyes to a new understanding of what it means to be blessed. This isn't about cliches or empty theories, but deep truths that can transform how you view every detail of your life. Are you ready to uncover the 8 signs that prove you're blessed by God? Then join me on this journey and get ready to be amazed. Have you ever taken a moment to reflect on what it means to be poor in spirit? It's not about lacking material resources, but about recognizing that, on our own, we don't have all we need to live fully. Think about those who aren't ashamed to admit their flaws and depend on something greater to guide them. This kind of humility is like an open window, allowing divine light to enter and transform their lives. You can start cultivating this today. Take a moment to reflect on your limitations and sincerely ask for guidance. People who are poor in spirit possess surprising strength because they know they aren't self-sufficient. They don't try to carry the weight of the world alone, but trust in a higher power to fill their gaps. For example, consider someone facing a challenging family issue. Instead of relying solely on their own wisdom, they seek advice, pray, or talk with someone they trust. This acknowledgement of needing help brings them closer to a true solution. Now, imagine how this could impact your life. If you could set aside the facade of handling everything on your own, what would change? Perhaps you'd see that this openness is a door to the kingdom of heaven. Not a distant place, but a reality where peace, purpose, and joy reign. And speaking of which, what's next for those who adopt this attitude? Let's discover together in the next section. Have you noticed how there's a type of weeping that seems to bring relief, even in the toughest situations? We're not just talking about tears of sadness, but those born from genuine repentance and a desire to see the world become a better place. This kind of emotion isn't weakness. It's a sign that you're in tune with something greater, feeling the world's pain and wanting to be part of the solution. Maybe you felt this way before, seeing an injustice or recalling something you could have done differently. These tears have an incredible purpose. They bring us closer to God. When we weep for what's wrong, whether in our own lives or the world around us, we're actually inviting divine comfort to enter. It's like watering a plant. The crying may be painful at the moment, but it nurtures something new and good within us. How about taking time to reflect on what truly touches your heart? It could be the suffering of someone close or even a larger cause, like social inequality. And you know what's most transformative? Those who experience this kind of pain don't remain trapped in it. On the contrary, they learn to look beyond themselves and become a source of comfort for others. It's as if their tears create a river that also brings hope to those around them. But are there more blessings reserved for those who embrace this process? Don't miss the next point. The answers might surprise you. Humility isn't just a virtue. It's a true art in today's world. Have you ever noticed how humility can disarm even the tensest situations? Humble people don't need to prove anything to anyone because they trust fully that justice comes from God, not human hands. Think of those who, even in moments of criticism or humiliation, choose to respond with patience and kindness. This is more than a posture. It's an inner strength that moves mountains. The humble understand that by letting go of revenge or anger, they are building something much greater. Have you ever seen how someone who doesn't retaliate ends up with a peace no one can take away? Imagine a family argument. While everyone else raises their voices, the humble person remains firm but calm. They show that patience isn't passivity but wisdom. And you know what's amazing? This kind of attitude attracts respect and admiration, even from those who initially doubted them. If you want to move closer to this ideal, start small. When faced with conflict, take a deep breath and choose the path of serenity. It's not easy, but it's liberating. And there's something special for the humble. The promise that they will inherit the earth. Not just any land, but a place of peace and abundance that only those who trust in God's perfect timing can experience. Speaking of which, how about we talk about the next type of blessed person? Seeking justice goes beyond a simple desire for balance. It's a genuine hunger and thirst for a better world. Those who pursue justice aren't satisfied with letting wrongs go unnoticed. They act, raising their hands to defend what's right, even if it means going against the flow. Think, for example, of someone who refuses to accept bribes at work or advocates for fairer public policies. This spirit is what transforms society. Living justly doesn't mean being perfect, but living with integrity. Have you noticed how the world offers shortcuts that seem advantageous at first but leave a bitter aftertaste later? The person who seeks justice understands that doing what's right isn't just an ethical choice but an act of faith. When someone chooses honesty, even in a tough negotiation, they're showing they trust God's provision more than their own effort. This is a powerful declaration of principles. And the most interesting part? Those who hunger and thirst for justice will be filled. This isn't a vague promise. It's a real experience of satisfaction from knowing you're aligned with higher values. The inner peace that comes from making the right decision is unparalleled. But is acting justly enough? The next point reveals something even more transformative for those who want to be blessed. Mercy is like a balm that heals the world's wounds. Have you noticed how small acts of compassion can completely transform someone's day? Those who practice mercy are not only helping others, but also planting seeds that will one day be harvested as grace. Imagine a neighbor offering help during a difficult time or someone donating their time and resources to a cause without expecting anything in return. These gestures speak louder than words. But mercy isn't just about grand acts. It begins with the small things. It's that moment when you choose to forgive instead of holding a grudge, or when you decide to understand someone's perspective, even if you disagree. Think about how different the world would be if everyone applied just a little more of this virtue daily. You can start today. Instead of judging, try listening. Instead of condemning, seek to understand. Mercy has the power to open doors to deeper, more genuine relationships. And here's the beauty of it. When we are merciful, we receive mercy. It's not just an exchange, but a spiritual connection that draws us closer to the heart of God. It's as if, by being generous to others, we're saying, I understand your message, God. And if being merciful is so impactful, what about those who live with purity of heart? Get ready, because the next topic is truly inspiring. Purity of heart is a rare quality, but it carries an incomparable promise: to see God. It's not about perfection, but about integrity and intention. It's about keeping your mind and heart free from distractions that pull you away from what truly matters. Imagine someone who avoids gossip, chooses honesty over dubious shortcuts, and lives ethically. This person is not only living a moral life, but also building a genuine connection with the divine. Keeping your heart pure in a world full of temptations requires vigilance. You've probably heard the saying about not being able to stop a bird from landing on your head, but preventing it from building a nest. That's exactly it. Negative thoughts and intentions may arise, but it's up to us not to let them take root. A simple practice is to feed your mind with good things. Read inspiring books, meditate on spiritual teachings, and avoid content that diverts your focus from what uplifts. And what happens when you choose purity? Your perspective on life changes completely. You begin to see God's work in the smallest details. In someone's kindness, in an unexpected opportunity, or in the comfort found during difficult times. Purity of heart is a special lens that brings clarity and closeness to what is eternal. But how can peace manifest in our lives and relationships? The next topic will explore this in depth. Being a peacemaker is more than simply avoiding conflict. It's about being an architect of harmony. These people have a special gift for building bridges where others see only divides. Imagine a friend who, noticing a fight between colleagues, takes the time to listen to both sides and finds a fair solution. This ability to promote peace isn't weakness, but a strength that transforms tense environments into spaces of serenity and understanding. Peacemakers don't just maintain peace within themselves. they spread it to those around them. They know that reconciliation, although challenging, is essential for lasting relationships. Think of a family where members haven't spoken for years. A peacemaker is the one who makes the first move, arranges a dinner, or writes a heartfelt letter. Small gestures like these have the power to reunite hearts. And you know what's incredible? Jesus promised that peacemakers would be called children of God. That's because, by promoting peace, they reflect the very character of the Creator. It's as if every act of reconciliation is a divine signature on our lives. But what happens when this peace is threatened by persecution? The next topic will unveil one of the most powerful lessons about faith and resilience. Being persecuted for your faith isn't easy to endure, but it carries profound meaning. Those who remain steadfast despite adversity demonstrate unshakable trust in God's promises. Think about people who have lost friends, opportunities, or even faced ridicule for their beliefs. These moments can be painful, but they're also evidence of a greater purpose and strength from God. Persecution often signals that you're on the right path. Have you noticed how those who live by high principles frequently face opposition? That's because the light you carry exposes the darkness around you. If you're going through something like this, remember you're not alone. Many before you faced similar challenges and emerged stronger. Paul, for instance, was imprisoned, beaten, and still wrote letters of encouragement that continue to inspire us today. And here's the most powerful point. Persecution is not the end of the story. Jesus promised that the kingdom of heaven belongs to those who endure such trials. This means there's an eternal reward for those who don't give up. So how can you apply this to your life? Instead of hiding, continue living your faith boldly. In the next step, we'll tie everything together and see how these lessons apply to our daily lives. Now that you've discovered the 8 signs that prove you are blessed by God, the big question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Recognizing these blessings is just the first step. The real challenge is applying them to your life. Are you ready to view the world with new purpose, act with humility, seek justice, promote peace, and, above all, live with faith even in the face of adversity? Think about this. How could your life change if you started each day recognizing the blessings already around you? Is it time to let go of that worry consuming you or that resentment holding you back? Perhaps it's the moment to ask yourself, how can I share these blessings with those around me? Transformation begins when you choose to take the next step. If this content resonated with you, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep learning more about how to live a blessed life aligned with God's purpose. Together, we can explore even more ways to bring light, peace, and wisdom into our daily lives. So, are you ready to begin? Let's journey together.